Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? My name is Kyle, you know me as Dragonmar, and welcome to a new video. Today we have Dom playing Astra in Diamond 1 on Bind here. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about positioning. What is good positioning? What does it look like? How can you tell why someone's positioning might be bad? That is the question we'll be answering while we watch this gameplay. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Let me know what you want to see next in the comments down below, and check me out on Twitch if you guys have questions. Just want to watch how I play. Twitch.tv/Dragonmar. With that being said, let's check out how we're playing on Bind with Astra. So first and foremost, right, when it comes to positioning with Astra, you are a support player. And support players, generally speaking, are going to be playing behind their teammates. They're going to be playing behind all of the entries, especially the supports who use smokes. So Brim, Omen, and Astra are really important to stay alive because those smokes are super valuable. You're going to want to be playing behind your duelists, but you can play in front of your sentinels who maybe, are probably watching the flank in a lot of these situations. In this round, though, they will win, although Dom, the aim was a little shaky there, I have to say. Definitely should have hit at least one shot on that Cypher. I think we can both agree. All right, moving into the second round, let's talk about positioning. In general, one of the key things that you guys watching are going to want to think about is how can you position yourself in a spot where the least amount of enemies can shoot you for where you're watching, right? You never want to be in a position where you are exposed to multiple angles at once. That tends to be the biggest thing when it comes to positioning, is can I limit the amount of angles that I am exposed to while still maintaining whatever, my strategy is, whatever I'm holding. That is the biggest problem for people when it comes to positioning. I would also say another thing about positioning is that it relies pretty heavily on teammates sometimes, because the correct position is often dictated by your teammates and where they're playing. What may have been the proper position in a certain round may actually end up not being at all in the next round because of where your teammates are at those given times. So I want to be paying attention to that in this game as well. Like I said, focusing on positioning, but obviously want to give some Astra tips here as well. And when it comes to Astra, one thing I would say to Dom already, and I have briefly looked through another one of his VODs, is he really needs to pre-place some of these stars. It's not horrible to place them as you go, but when you are in Astral form, you're very vulnerable. This is something a lot of players getting on Astra are going to realize, is that it is very difficult to play against aggressive players in Astral form because they rush you and you can't hear them. Right here, for example, we see Dom rotating with Spike, ends up using his star reactively after seeing the Omen. He does end up getting the Omen into the star, into the pole, but unfortunately, the Omen was just able to hit the shots. All right, so right here again, it looks like Dom is just waiting for a round start. This is okay as well. Remember, the enemy team can see your stars, so they will react to them. But let's see here, Dom leading the charge. I don't really like this because the Reyna has not even gone up showers yet. So in that situation, I think you want to let Reyna get up showers. And if you are playing Astra, why not throw something over into U-Haul, right? Because you don't have flashes, you're at such a disadvantage for taking U-Haul. Use a stun or use a pull in U-Haul to help get you that control as you go up short next time. Because right here, your positioning, you were going in first. You got to at least let Reyna come up, and then you probably want to use some utility on U-Haul to make sure it's clear. Another thing that's probably very important to make note of is that just because you are using or not using your utility doesn't mean your teammates can't either, right? So just because I told him you probably should have used your star there to do something in U-Haul doesn't mean the Cypher couldn't have caged it, Sova could have shocked it, reconned, whatever, right? There's always options, and it's never just your fault. Now here, I like this a lot more. As you're seeing, he's playing behind his Jet, which is good because he just has a Sheriff, right? He's gonna have a hard time, really dueling against rifles unless he just hits his shots. But at the same time, he also pre-placed stars, which is nice. You really want to stay away from placing stars like after the fact, or as I would say, more reactively. You want to be proactive with them because it can be very difficult in the heat of the moment to place a star properly and accurately, especially if you're going for smokes, because you end up leaving gaps. And right here, they just kind of all get bunched up into long, and yeah, it doesn't end up going well. All right, let's check out the positions here going into round 6. We're going to split off the site, and this looks like this would probably be a plant for, I'm assuming, showers. So here comes the rotate, which isn't bad. As you're seeing, the Reyna and Jet are leading the way. That's exactly what we're looking for out of our duelists. Okay, we're making a line of stars. I'm interested to see what the plan is here, because this wall will be dropping soon. And as I just said, the wall dropped, right? So right there is a good example maybe of getting being a little bit too early on your utility and just not really having your team in place. He could have waited for his team to actually get into showers to do that. He didn't have to use that at round start. So I think Dom right there, you pulled the trigger a little bit too early. Post plant positioning is looking pretty good though. I like having a player in showers here, and you're supporting your jet at the same time. You also spotted a player to your left. I hope you saw him. And let's see, Reyna will push and get that kill. Oop, you weren't there to trade that, but looks like you guys will win the round in the end. Yeah, pretty decent round, but a bit too early there on the utility. I think you'll agree with that. All right, round 7 here. Looks like we're positioning ourselves over for a B hit. Positioning wise, Cypher tripping flanks and you know, kind of being the last one. Good. Jet pushing in first into, it looks like Hookah, but actually ends up having to deal with the Omen, who I'm assuming flashed and gets those kills. That's horrible. Positioning wise was okay, but definitely not a good result, that's for sure. And now once again, we're kind of all stuck over here at long. I think it would be smart to take the spike and just get out of here, especially because they're not using the teleporter at all. There's no fake potential, so the other team absolutely knows they're here. And right there, I'm going to take another look at this spray, actually. Let's see it. Repeaks. Okay, yeah, he repeaks, goes a little bit wide, and what the Sage does is she reacts to that, and she goes wide as well. So she ends up actually kind of LOSing him, line of sighting him, so he can't even really see her to hit the shots. All right, Dominus team will lose that round again. As I've been saying, I want to see some pre-placed stars. So he's waiting again until round start. One thing you can do with Astra, by the way, guys, is you can place stars across the map and then recall them at any time, right? Which is a great way to pull off rotates. Even pre-round, you can do it. You don't have to wait for this kind of stuff, which is okay as long as he's quick enough with it. But if you are going for rushes, sometimes you can accidentally out-timing yourself. So you just got to be careful with how you're doing it. But I would like to see him change it up a bit. Because right now what's happening, if you guys are paying attention, is every time he places stars on a site, they go there. But because you can recall stars and use them later in the round, why not place your stars across the map? Keep the enemy team guessing. Because right now they know exactly what's happening. Every time Dom places a star, they know this is where they're going. All right, round 9. So Dom hasn't had a big impact so far in this game. Currently only 3 kills, and we're on the 9th round. And that's not horrible, given that he is playing more of a support here on Astra. But I think even he would want a little bit more than this. Looks like there is going to be a player inside of Teleporter. It was the Omen, I'm assuming, and he's probably TPing away now, which is actually a pretty funny play. Now, positioning-wise here, we've got Reyna going up alone. I don't like that. Whenever you guys are trying to take B, I always recommend 2 people go long, just because I have found a lot of people will sort of, you know, they play long pretty aggressively. And on B site, it's really easy to have 2 people holding long at once, especially if one is playing in the octagon. And here, though, as we see, Dom is just going to go down early to the Omen, which is really bad. A reminder of why it's really bad is because when you're playing a support, especially one with smokes, now the team has no smokes to entry, even though his stars are in the perfect position for it. All right. Round 10, still on 3 kills here. 4 to 5 though, not the end of the world. Bind is a pretty even map, like in terms of attack and defense. I don't really favor either one too heavily, so not a big deal. Again though, Dom using his abilities across the map here. And this time, looks like there hasn't been too much aggression. There it is. So Reyna will start off with a kill here. Like I was trying to say there, I actually thought maybe they were going to fake something on A and come back B. I think you actually do come back B now, as he just said, so we know where Cypher is. We've got a bunch of utility to use here as well. It looks like Dom is just going to play it safe, which I think was the wrong option. Not because he died. I'm not just saying that because he died, but right here, I'm going to rewind really quick. So he goes into astral form, meaning he can't hear anything, and it allows the enemy team to reposition. What he could have done here, instead of going into that corner, is he could have gone into elbow and just held elbow, making sure that was safe, meaning the only place Cypher could be for his teammates is either he's in those CT doors or he's on site. So right there, I think a bit of a misplay. He wanted to get his utility down, but it would have been much better off, I think, securing map control rather than going for the for his utility. And that is a positioning mistake as well. All right, 5 to 5 here. moving in around 11. Again, playing off of the jet here. Sage Wall goes up, so we know one player's here at least. Now we have Sucks available and Stun, so let's see what the play is here. Looks like that Omen Smoke, though, probably good enough reason not even to try that at this point, just because you don't really want to run through an Omen Smoke into a place where shotguns are very prevalent. Now, that was a very weird play by the Omen, and I believe Dom used a Suck there, which was perfect. Jet will TP, though, which is good. Getting back with the team, but the Cypher goes down, probably a little bit out of position there. Nonetheless, though, everybody grouped up here. I don't like this positioning. The reason I don't like this positioning is because when you're all grouped up inside of hookah, you allow the enemy, the defense, to take long control, which makes it really hard to jump into sight here. Let's see what's going to happen. Ooh. Dom, again, going in first. I just don't think he needs to be in that spot there. He still has so much abilities left. And he doesn't have flashes, right? The Reyna should have flashed there, jumped out with Dom using his abilities to support her, throwing stars on sight, stunning, concussing, all that kind of stuff there, which is something I've noticed a lack of. Not a lot of the concussions, whatever that ability is, being used right now. Okay, so Jet actually pulls off a pretty nice clutch there, ends up winning, putting them up 6-5. Aggression again, Dom is pretty much leading the way, but Reyna in a good spot to get that first kill. Again, late on the smokes. He's placing them late. He's got to put those ones pre-round at this point. Because if an Opper was playing up in heaven there, those smokes were not up quick enough to stop any sort of shot that would have came out on the players pushing short. Whoa. Let's take a look at this aim here. What happened here with Dom? He comes around the corner. You know, not necessarily aiming poorly, but it looks like he just doesn't react quick enough to the Reyna and ends up going down in the final round of the first half. Okay, so moving into the second half, I think very clearly earlier star placement. So right here is actually already a good step in the right direction. Placing that star early is so much easier to use these Astra abilities when you are with your weapon out and your stars are already down. Here, though, like I was saying, a little bit late, right? Because now, as you can see, he places those. He can't hear anything in Astra form. He can't hear anything. So he just uses those abilities and doesn't actually end up getting anything from the pull. Thankfully, though, teammates are in a great spot. Little shaky on the aim, and then gets flanked, but it does get a headshot there. But as I was saying, definitely what we're noticing so far, positioning-wise, Dom has a tendency to go in first. Not what we want to see on a support player, like especially Astra, where a ton of her value is almost being played like a sentinel. So let's see how that changes when he's on defense here. Another thing I would say, though, just general positioning tips. You guys can tell if your positioning is bad, because I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, how can I tell if my positioning is bad? If you're getting shot in the back a lot, if you are sort of getting surprised by enemies coming into your sight when you're on defense, that's another good sign that you are just not in the right position. You should pretty much always know where the enemies are whenever they are coming into your sight, right? That's pretty simple stuff. If you are constantly surprised, like, oh, I didn't know an enemy was there, I didn't realize someone got into sight, your positioning, probably wrong. If you're dying first a lot as a sentinel, your positioning is probably wrong. If you're dying last as a duelist, positioning, it might not be right. So you got to be careful with this stuff, because there's a lot of ways to tell if your positioning is good or bad. And it's really important you understand, if it is, how to improve it, right? Because if you don't know you have a problem, kind of hard to fix it. Okay, round 15, again, we've got that smoke, but I'm not seeing enough stuff. You know, the timing here on the placement of the abilities when it comes to the short push on bind, just so important to have that stuff down. I found, not just because you need it to react faster, but also because it allows you to kind of push back and take map control. Now, you guys have heard me talk about map control a lot in my videos, maybe not as much as I probably should have, but having those stars on the ground is going to deter people from these fast pushes. Because Dom isn't putting them down early, people are not deterred by them. All right, again, putting the star down here for the smoke. I think Dom is just pretty much farming his ult if he wants it. I mean, he probably could have grabbed it there even if he wanted, but players spotted. One of the great parts about Astra, obviously being able to place stars across the map. Positioning wise, I like the positioning from the teammates. As you see, Cypher in sight playing around his abilities. Sova in elbow as well. Very, very good. Love those crossfires. Loves kind of what that position can become and how hard it is to take it when you have guys in these spots. Teammates pushing in. just kind of cleaning things up here. And then the last player up top in hookah, and there's the kill to finish it off. Nice job there by Dom. Good round by everybody actually on this team. Positioning was actually on point in that round. 11-5. So moving into round 17 here. My cat is clawing a doorway right now, which is pretty cool. But Dom gonna start off with the early pick on Omen. Really surprised the Omen decided to walk through his smoke. Dom says, thank you very much. I will take that free kill. There is the star placement on short. But again, he's not in a spot to hear stuff. So what ends up happening is they walk in for free. The pole actually does get one, but he goes down anyways. The pole got two. Two players vulnerable there, but the positioning of the team was very poor. Let's go back. I just want to watch it again. The positioning here is so bad. So, Cypher, U-Haul, look at where Jet is. What is Jet doing? Can anybody explain to me what Jet's doing? Playing with a judge around this corner here. Jet should have been in U-Haul, looking for an early peek into front teleporter, and then dashing away. And then you have your rifle play on site. The positioning there was not correct for the guns that his teammates had. That's why they're going to lose this round, because that pull actually was huge. Those players would have taken double damage pretty much, I believe, from vulnerable there. So those would have been free kills for whoever was able to peek that. But because Jet was in the wrong position with the judge, completely ruined that round for them. All right, 11-6 here. Again, smoking off the entrance into showers. Like I've been saying, though, I would really like to see some earlier utility. Just one smoke in hookah or one star in hookah just to help the team, just to slow down the enemies. So that what can happen is you say, hey guys, I'm putting a star down in hookah. Let me know when to use it. And then they say, use it now. And then you use it without having to place it, you know, and then activate it, right? And it's so much quicker. And remember, we're playing Valorant.
Oh, that's not good for me. I'm upping.
You can win or lose a round in fractions of a second. So in those couple seconds it takes to go into Astra form, to place a star, to activate the ability, you could have lost the round for your team. So you got to be really careful with this kind of stuff, because little bits of time really do matter in games like this. But here comes the peak. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Dom's got to win that one. That is a free kill. Good distraction by the teammate. But Dom just could not hit his shots there. Looked like he maybe couldn't decide between full spraying and trying to burst for a headshot, actually. Dom and company actually going to lose that round. Again, playing showers, smoking. One thing I've noticed about Dom is he does have a tendency to do the same thing a lot on defense. Like I said, I briefly watched another one of his VODs just to see which one I wanted to review. And in that VOD, he actually played the same spot on defense, on Ascent, in tree, every round I watched. And I think there is merit to that. It's not a bad thing always, but sometimes, especially in that game when it wasn't working, you want to switch things up. And right now, Dom has just kind of been smoking and sitting in showers every single round, when potentially he could get a little more value being that third person on B site every now and then, while maybe keeping some utility over here on A. I'm not saying he has to. Positioning wise, you know, he's fine. He's doing fine. Just a suggestion to try to be a bit more unpredictable. But I think he's a little bit slow here to react to the fact that a teammate had been, enemy had been spotted. As you saw, he was still holding showers while people were dying. You want to be a little quicker than that, because when you're playing support, when you're playing Astra, you need to be getting those pulls. You need to be getting those smokes out quicker to help your teammates. Because right now, as you saw, there was still a player fighting in hookah. If Dom would have maybe been able to use a pull in hookah, he could have potentially changed the outcome of this entire round, right? So you've just got to remember that, yeah, rotating is great, but using your utility is even better. All right, so it looks like Dom does actually end up finding that kill there. Not the best accuracy on those shots, but a leg shot will work for that kill and turns this into a 1v1. There's the updraft. Jet is right next to him. Gonna miss the spray. Jet will drop down. Could potentially be below him, excuse me, or... Ooh, she actually went pretty far away. And this is a tough spot to be in. He's going to have to get some sort of tap here. There's no way this Jet should peek. Good positioning here is to wait a few seconds after that tap and then swing. Because chances are he's, you know, the player tapping the spike is not going to hold it on the first tap, right? So what you do is you wait a second or two, maybe like 2 to 3 seconds. Then you like jump peek or do something to really throw off the headshot. In this case, Jet just swings out wide. Dom is, of course, off the spike and gets a nice headshot there to end that round and clutch up a 1v2. Very nice job. Okay, round 20 here. Actually going to grab the orb. We noticed a few times he wasn't grabbing the orb. Again, reacting. right? Not what we're looking for. Oh man, and there it is. See, they know he plays here, right? So they're ready for it. And because he doesn't have stars down, despite being able to recall them, he just doesn't have the utility in the proper position. Astra is so much like a Sentinel in that aspect, and I think that's something a lot of us are going to have to get used to. All right, so starting the next round here, smoking off showers again, but looky here. We've got stars down this time, which is awesome. Ooh, moving while shooting there, not the best. Oh, and Reyna, one of the few agents that can completely avoid that pull. Thankfully, though, Cypher able to get the kill. Ooh, but at the same time, Dom, I think, kind of loses track of what's happening. With no more pressure being applied on short, you have to assume there's going to be something happening in showers there and just ends up dying to that jet, essentially for free there. This is a big timing mistake. And just understanding that, hey, a lot of time has passed, I should expect the enemy team to be in this position, or they can be, so you have to, you have to respect it and pay attention to it. Again, much better from Dom here. 4 stars placed immediately. Smoking again, showers 3 stars in short, and much better placement here as well because they go deeper. And that's what we're looking for. We want those deeper stars to really deny map control. So this is great. Jet able to pick up 2. Positioning wise, she has spike control. Looks like you are going to maybe put something for her, but you don't end up activating it. So now Reyna pushing out on the site. Your Cypher's alone. But thankfully, that's not going to matter here. I see you placing these, and I give you a lot of respect for it because it's hard to do when you're moving. But thankfully, your teammates had it covered in the end, and you guys will end up winning 13-9. So sitting here at the end, I want to touch on positioning, right? Because I think that one thing I noticed from Dom on attack, he's got to slow down a bit on the aggressiveness. You don't want to be in front of your duelist. You want to be making sure you're alive and you're able to support them. And Astra has a lot of ability to support with, right? She has a stun and she has a pull, which are super unique on top of her smokes, right? So you have some great options there, but if you're dying early on attack, you can't use them. And we saw that a few times. Slow down there for sure. Positioning wise on defense, just something I think for Dom and a lot of you guys in general, try to be a bit more unpredictable and vary up where you're playing. If you go showers every round, thankfully these guys didn't punish you for it, but a good team and good players will punish you for doing the same thing every round, and eventually it just won't work. And I saw that in your other VOD, obviously not so much this one. Another thing I would recommend, definitely pre-place more abilities and use your stars to fake more. On attack, place those stars across the map. Make the guys on the other site worry that you're going to come there. Don't telegraph it. Don't always use your stars and then take that site, right? That's too easy. Make it a little more difficult for them because I think that's something that Astra does really well. Another thing I would say, maybe a little bit more on the comms to make sure that when you are placing stars across the map, not only does your team know they're there, but know that they should be telling you when they need them, right? Because that's really, it's so hard for you to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to use this right now because they're, the enemy are in this position, right? So good communication there, super important for Astra. And then another thing I would say is you need to play off, I think, your suck a bit more. I believe it's called gravity well or something. If you play off that a bit more, I think you're going to be in a much better situation because there was a few times on A where you had, I think, a good gravity well, but you weren't able to get anything out of it, right? So just being in a better position and having them down earlier is going to help a ton in that regard. Aside from that, though, I think your positioning on defense was actually much better. I like kind of how you did things, and I think that you played pretty well overall, aside from the fact that your stars weren't down early enough to make those abilities easier to use. But with that being said, overall, very good game, a nice little win here, and you might have been bottom of the scoreboard, but your smokes and your abilities were really helping the team, and that's what matters when you're playing support. So good job. Thank you for submitting the VOD, and I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, and peace.